Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 156, season 7 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by Lee Collins and also Micro Machines Podcast, who have both become Patreons of the show. You too can help support the show simply by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench. Your contributions help us with our production and hosting costs and are greatly appreciated. And hello and welcome to the show. And in the studio, I've got Ian.
G'day, Dave. G'day, Julian.
I've got Julian.
Morning.
And return special guest, member at large, Sam.
Plenty of large, not that special.
How have we been, gentlemen? What's been happening? What's been rocking your world?
No, not much modelling. Buying tools.
Well, that's
a
not
hobby.
Bad thing,
That's
yeah.
a hobby, yes. Got myself a new Dremel and bought myself a little drill press for it.
Man, a Dremel?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
with the proper drill press. You can go up in it, which is great for when I'm doing my little plinths for the busts.
You know, I had a mate who worked for Bosch who used to import Dremel, and I got all of that stuff. And I ended up chucking it away. I
Really?
could have given you a drill press.
Oh,
If I'd only known you like 5 years ago.
yeah, well, that's it.
You gave all that stuff away.
No, I chucked it out.
Seriously?
I didn't use it. Because the Dremel, to mine, I couldn't find there's a foot, like a sewing machine foot pedal.
Yep.
Yeah.
That regulates the speed.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the Dremel I could never get it slow enough, and it would just burn through plastic, burn through your hand. Like it was always so
Yes.
fast. And I ended up not using it, and then binned it, and found a little cordless Dremel that was nice and slow.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
But still had torque.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want the torque.
And I've moved on to the display one now.
Oh, yeah, what's
Which
that
is-
like?
Have they got one out now?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah. Sorry to hijack your thing, but yeah, no, it's little cordless, or it's USB charged cordless thing, and it's plenty of torque, and nice and slow, 3 speeds. And it's the size of a
Pen?
like a marker, like a Sharpie marker.
Okay.
So really quite small. Yeah.
That's handy.
Yep. Look for shameless plug, man scale models.
Yeah.
It's Eric Galliers, who had the big Hornet up at Canberra.
Yes.
He imports them, and really.
They reasonable price?
I don't remember, 70, 80 something,
that's
maybe. I don't remember.
A lot cheaper than the Dremel.
Yeah.
You're paying over 100 for
Yeah.
a
And then
Dremel.
they also do. It comes with a bit, and then they come. You can buy bits extra as well.
Very cool. Julian, what have you been up to?
I've been putting decals on the Gallant.
Yep.
That's been a bit fun.
The green machine?
Yeah, the green machine. So it's got like these sort of stripes that run down the sides, white stripes, and they're sort of a bit interrupted towards the rear. And on the left side, I did the right side first. Just doing it. I got it in a good place that I wanted. But then when I got to the left side, it has to go over the fuel cap thing, right? But and it has to land right on the edge of it, because if you go any higher, then the line is not on the side of the car; it's on the top. By the time it gets to the boot, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. If you're following the line of sight, yeah.
Yeah, but I got it there. It's not a
Oh,
problem.
well done.
I've got there's also a white bit that goes on at the front, but on the bottom part, underneath the front bumper, and that's tricky because it has to go right up to the edge of the plastic, and it wraps around on each side, and it wants to sort of wrinkle and stuff, and I still have to tie that bit up. I might have to
What brand is it again?
the kit has to go.
Yeah, it has to go with decals. Never been a fan.
I can't say I've ever used them.
Yeah, no.
Well,
What year Galant is it?
It's like a 1970s Galant.
Because my first car was a 77 Galant.
Yeah.
Yeah, red. I think at one point it was red. It was an awesome car.
I had a Galant too. I had a Chrysler Galant.
Yeah, it was a
four-door,
Chrysler
red,
red.
and it 4-speed. On the floor?
Yes.
Great car.
Cost me $800. It was the best $800 I ever spent.
Oh, I got it for nothing. 4-cylinder?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
We used to go shooting. We used to go shooting in it, and you'd just after you were done, you'd turn the wheel, and the sound of 22 casings in behind the dashboard, just tinkle, 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 they roll. Tinkle, 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 tinkle.
Very cool.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So besides that, I've buying tools. I went on Etsy
No, that can be a danger.
and bought some resin busts.
What sort of bust?
I got a Cthulhu,
Yes.
which I always wanted a good Cthulhu bust, and I got this dude was selling these. They're like busts of different dragon heads,
Yeah.
and they look really. They're not like your generic looking ones. I thought, well, they look really cool, so I'll get 4 of those, 4 different ones, and I went for 100 mil because you got the size.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
size? Oh,
yeah.
100 mil should be all right.
Yeah.
I should have gone 75. These things are huge. But they haven't lost any of the detail. The detail's amazing because they're 8K. And then, yesterday I got back onto Etsy and bought myself I think it was about 6 or 7 1/35 scale Japanese tank riders,
Oh, wow.
which I haven't seen before.
It's a buyer's market, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I just got to build.
And you are that buyer.
What do you call me? The whale?
Yeah.
yeah. Shopkeepers the world over. As soon as they see you walking into the door, they start rubbing their paws together.
Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
So, no, that's been, but I think I've had 3 weeks off work and I think I spent an hour on the bench.
Dude.
I just get on there. It's like,
But you know what? You know, there's
On
no law that
holidays.
says there's no law that says you have to sit there at the bench when you've got spare time. You just do it when it's like making love. When it overcomes you, then you go and do it.
okay.
He's making it awkward.
Makes
also,
it
he's
really
also
awkward.
making eye contact with you.
I know, that's why I'm sort of like looking down at the floor going, okay.
What I'm saying is, forcing yourself, I think, doesn't work.
Correct.
You've
Yeah,
just
agreed.
got to
Yep.
wait, and
Yeah, but I only found out this morning. I've only got about 6 weeks before the Mooseroo's done, so I've really got to pull my finger out
well, in that case, pull your finger out, son,
and
get it done.
Get that painted up.
You're carrying all of Australia's hopes and dreams on your shoulders.
Thanks.
No pressure, man.
No, none at all.
No
No
pressure.
pressure. Lots of pressure.
No, none at all. None at all.
How far in are you really?
Well,
Like you should be fairly a long way in, right?
basically, I've just got to figure out what we're going to do about the wheels. Because
Let 'em go. Let 'em
everyone
go.
else, the
Yep.
wheels are just crap.
Just let the wheels go.
They're just a bad mould where the treads don't match.
They're microscopic and they're good, but just the tyre texture's not great.
Yeah, the tyre texture just
Yeah.
really lets the wheels down.
And mine
then
aren't
it's
any
just
better. I thought maybe I could sling you my wheels, and maybe you got a bad batch and mine were different.
No,
But
you're
nah,
the same.
mine
Everyone in the Mooseroo Cup's got the same problem. That all it's just the wheels.
What kind of tyre pattern do you need to do?
Well, to do it correctly, I need block tread.
like 90-degree block.
Diamond?
No,
No,
just
block.
like not 45 like a diamond. They're 90 square.
Like it's driven over a waffle
okay.
line.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
waffles.
You just had breakfast, man.
Yeah, but we didn't have waffles though, did we?
Yeah, you didn't touch my dessert stomach.
You haven't?
I have seen people, right? They'll put like what was it, like a razor saw blade in a book at the correct point, and then they'll just rotate the tire on the table.
Yeah, but then
next
you
to
got
it
to
kind of
sit
thing.
there and do all those tiny little
Yeah.
blocks, and that'd take weeks to do that. That'd be
Given he's got 1 hour in the
Yeah, I
last
know.
3 weeks done.
yeah,
Just,
nah.
just do ball tires then. Who cares?
They've been doing
Or just put it on a base with lots of snow and just like cake up the tyres with snow.
There you go, done. Problem solved.
Don't have to worry about it.
All right. Well, this is an interesting episode because we're actually recording today on January the 14th. We're recording it a week early because I'm going to be overseas. So when the episode drops, I'll actually be in Rome, probably wandering around the Colosseum,
It's flexing on all of us.
looking at all, reliving my past lives as a gladiator.
do they do a thing there where they let you dress up like a gladiator?
Oh, they probably do, but I
A
wouldn't do it.
centurion?
No.
Please don't. Please don't.
Well, we swab it.
Yeah, you could pull off a
beg your pardon?
a centurion.
I beg your pardon.
Well, if you talk nicely to him, buy him a drink first.
Or maybe a prefect or whatever they're called.
Prefect.
Prefect.
Well, okay, yes. I'm just getting the mental image out
You
of my
have
head.
the appearance of one, is what
Well,
I'm
he's got.
saying.
Well, you got to say Dave has the height of a Roman.
Right.
Thank you. Well, I do. I've got Italian blood in me. I'm 50% Italian, 50% Irish.
Because the Romans,
So-
they were short, stocky people. The
Yeah.
ancient Romans,
Yep.
very short, stocky.
Yep. My thing's gone floppy. I don't know what's going on with my microphone stand.
So, are we actually talking about scale modelling at the moment, or is we on
Sorry,
something
had something-
totally different?
Anyway, so
Anyway, yeah, go
as I
on.
said, so it's a little bit confusing because we're recording this today on the 14th. It is the 14th, isn't it? Yeah, 14th. The episode will be dropping on the 21st, and then we're having a holiday break, and we don't come back into the recording studios until the 18th of February. So it's about a nice 4 weeks off for everybody, which I think we need. The show has now hit a milestone of 500,000 downloads, which is fantastic.
Wow.
So thank you
Congratulations, guys.
very much to everybody who sort of listens and supports the show. And as I said the last episode, we're planning on big and better things this year in regards to where we're going to. And I said Julian's off to Japan and Ian off to New Zealand and a lot of sort of Aussie country shows as well this year. So it should be a big year. It should be exciting. And
be a good year.
we hope
Yeah, I
you
know.
continue to enjoy listening to us. And thank you, everybody out there, particularly our Patreon supporters, for all your wonderful support. You make the show what it is. So that is just wonderful. I've got some news in regards to, speaking of shows, the Rockhampton Scale Model Association has a competition which is coming up very soon. It's going to be held at the Criterion Hotel on Saturday the 4th of February. Having a model show at a pub, that's
Mate,
dangerous.
That's fantastic.
You got to love these FNQs.
Yep.
That's slang. That's far north Queenslanders,
Yes.
which
FNQs.
Rockingham does count for. So, and it's going to be interesting. The way it's actually run is that the competition is not scrutinised by a judging committee as such. All entrances actually judge and vote on model entries within the competition, and then the votes are tallied, and the model with the most votes in the category wins.
Okay.
So, and that fits in with their one-day competition, or it's only held on the one day, which is Saturday the 4th of February at the Criterion Hotel, which happens to be in Key Street, Rockhampton. So that sounds like a really great way of judging if you're sort of, short.
You don't have to wrangle judges.
No.
Yeah, that'd work.
Yeah, it would work. Well, it's kind of similar to what we do at the Interclub, where
Yeah.
everybody sort of judges everybody else's. You can't just judge your own sort of club categories.
No, that's right.
So
Yeah.
that works out well. So entry fee's only $2 per model, maximum 5 entries. And
$2 is nothing.
no,
And I think, to be perfectly honest, like maximising, you only get 5 entries each. That's kind of a good thing.
yeah.
You see, sometimes, and people will enter 20 models. It's like,
Yeah.
give everyone a crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Further information, go to their Facebook page. Just do a search for Rockhampton Scale Model Association. And best of luck, guys, and hope you have a fantastic
Sounds
show.
like a great day.
Oh, geez, I've just closed out the emails. Oh, I've just done it
You
again.
really do having a great morning this morning, Dave.
I've had so many technical problems this morning, and it's just been driving me nuts. So that was actually sent in by Ashley, and Ashley also writes that he does some 3D printing, and the 3D printing he does is at www.ashscalemodels.com. I'll spell that ASHSSCALEMODELS.com. And it's mainly for Aussie sort of style stuff. So you got he does 3D prints for Brush Guard, for the Aussie
Land Rover
Land
Printy.
Rover Printy. And if you're looking for one, drop in and have a look and see what he's
Yeah, they
got.
look pretty good.
Yeah. Does a few other things as well. He does steel jerry fuel cans, not in real steel, of course. Duke antenna.
Yeah, sort of just up detail type stuff.
Yeah, mainly, particularly for Aussie sort of stuff, Aussie Armour, modern Aussie Armour. So check that out. So thanks very much, Ash, for sending all that stuff in, mate. So we've got Sam here today because we're going to be talking about F4s later on.
Yes.
The Phantom. So in conjunction with that, it's quite timely because a good friend Kevin writes in and he says that he's got his latest ebook, which is Building the British Phantoms Volume 2. This is for the FGR.2, which was an RAF service. It's just like Volume 1, and the book is actually done by the renowned UK modeller Jeff Coughlin. It's 595 pages, which is the largest one ever, and it features 11 kit builds, 26 colour profiles, 113-page walk-around section, and also chapters on the evolution key features of the FGR2 Phantom. And all this for the huge, shockingly over-the-top price of 22 Australian dollars.
Chicken feed.
It's a bargain, isn't it?
That is a bargain. Especially with
That
something
makes you
that
wonder
big.
how many of those 600 pages are about decals.
About like stencils and stuff.
I should hold back because we're not even at the part where we talk about Phantoms yet, are we?
No. So we should hold that over for that part of the show. So just go over to KLP Publishing, which is www.klp.com.au, and check that
and
out.
they're ebooks. So could you imagine 595 pages if it was a physical book?
yeah.
It'd be like a phone book.
It would be.
Yeah. We've had Kevin on the show before, and he says if any mistakes are found, he just updates it.
Yeah.
And then you can go back in and
Get the
download
updated version.
the
It's
updated version.
very clever.
I've got a few of his
For
books.
free,
I think
yeah.
about 4 or 5.
You wouldn't do them the same way because remember the ebooks you can have a lot more images and doesn't mean anything, whereas that's a lot of money in printing.
Oh, yeah.
It sure is.
Full colour.
While we're talking
Do some
mail,
rare.
we'll keep going on with some more stuff, shall we not?
Yeah, let's do some...
So John, I'm going to butcher your name.
Passano.
Pisano, yeah. He writes in, greetings fellow modelers, happy new year to all, hoping for further improvement in my modelling mojo in 2023. My present active project is a Hasegawa 1/72nd scale Bristol bowfighter. In planning the decision was made to finally try out using manufactured camouflage painting masks for the exterior colours. It appears to me after reviewing the instructions that if I use the lightest colour as the base coat and then apply the mask to the model for using the next colour, i.e. the darker one, the camouflage pattern will actually be reversed based on the references. I would think that this matter if trying to accurately duplicate the finished model to actual camouflage patterns. Another way of looking at this conundrum is that the way to accuracy would be that my base colour would have to be the darkest first instead of the lightest. Looking for your feedback and your help.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah. So
Because like normally you would paint your lighter colours first and then your darker colours
then your
over
mask,
the top.
Yeah.
So in this instance, the particular mask that he's doing is like a desert version of the bowfighter. So it's a light tan with a darker
Yeah, it'd be
brown.
dark earth and middle stone.
Middle
Yeah.
stone with azure blue.
And he's saying that if he paints it all stone first and then applies the mask afterwards,
It depends what you're
the pattern will be
masking.
reversed.
Yeah, no.
Well,
that makes
because
sense.
like the mask dictates the order in which you paint your colours, and it's opposite of what he would prefer.
So, which mask are you providing for then? Like, if you're using a manufactured mask, what are they masking up? Are they
Yeah.
masking up the stone or the darker colour?
Well, it's
It's all
interesting
going to
'cause-
depend on what they give you the mask
You'd
for.
want them to mask up the stone.
yes.
yeah, but I think what's happening is I'm getting confused.
Just freehand it.
Well, I actually went to.
Or maybe just cut the masks.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm thinking if it's going to be more likely it's going to be printed on probably an A4 sheet or something, or an A2 or an A5, and if you want to do the stone first, we'll do the stone and just use the mask that you'd normally leave on the paper
Yeah.
cut that up and use that, and that way you're going to get the same pattern. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, but...
Well, I actually went to the website to have a look at the particular camouflage mask that he's talking about, and it seems to me that it does provide the camouflage for the stone and the dark earth. So what I would suggest is that on the actual camouflage pattern, on the sheet of paper or
Film,
whatever it is, actually write on that
dark light,
whatever, and then paint the model, and then you know which mask to actually apply over the top.
Yeah.
And if you've already painted the stone, then you've got to eyeball where the stone stencil or mask goes on to the model.
Correct.
Also,
And the remaining gap is obviously where you just paint the darker colour.
Yeah.
Also, with these kind of masks, especially if they're the vinyl masks, they can do things okay, but they always fall down where you've got multiple compound curves and things like that.
tight corners and wing root corners and stuff.
Yeah, you'll end up having to do your own masking in there on top of it anyway.
Look, I get where he's coming from, because when I did that Polish tank and I did the digital camo on it, which is 4 colours, that drove me insane trying to figure out, which ones to put on and which ones to take off. Mm-hmm. And I could, and this is just, and his is just a simple 2-tone camouflage. Mine was 4, and it just,
Yeah, I've got a Ukrainian Frogfoot and a Ukrainian MiG-29 in digital, and it's 4 greys.
Yes,
That's my brain thinking about it.
Yeah. It's really, because especially with the digital one, once you paint it, then you got to put the digital one back on, but you got to do it in such a way to match up the next digital part of it. I know. I'm getting the shakes just thinking about last time I did it.
The closest I came to that was when I did, I think the disc pattern on a Hetzer.
Yeah, that's another one I've not done ever because it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
the ambush camouflage.
Yeah,
because a lot of.
Have you seen the ones that they got the little U shapes?
Yeah. So from my memory, when I was looking into it, a lot of people will just I think the way it's depicted in the actual instructions is that there's just these cloudy looking shapes, but that's I think some of them are like that, but some of them are not, and some of them are actually you can tell they've used masks that look like discs, and they've got overlapping in some areas, but not so in others, and there's gaps between the discs. You know,
Ardennes Panther in disc camo last year, maybe the year before, and that was Ushi vinyl stencils, and I painted the model with the tool brackets on, the base colours, the brown and the green, and then I just white glued the tool brackets on so I could pop them off. And then you do the stencils over the hull, and then just hand paint over the tool brackets where the discs needed to be.
That's a good idea.
That way you get the most smooth surface you can on the model you're doing. And I also figured old Hans in the factory, who's also using a stencil of some kind in the real factory, he's got to go around tool brackets as well. So that's where it's going to not really matter so much. You can have some overspray there, and that's
exactly right.
fine.
I mean,
didn't we used to use when they rubber mats?
Well, they still use rubber mats. So I was looking at
Aslav and Abrams when they get camoed in the factory,
and the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, they have big rubber mats.
Yeah, and just flop them over. And it's interesting because you go up and you can see overspray patches and everything. So our obsession with getting these tight, super tight patterns on the models is ridiculous.
Yeah, because the real ones got overspray and all sorts of guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to get the overspray 35 times smaller than real overspray. That's the problem. So therefore, you've got to go tight.
That's exactly it.
But with John, I would definitely, if you want to go the stone first, just use the backing. The rest, just don't use the bits they tell you. Use the other bits.
All right, John. I hope that's helpful for you. John
we
comes
from
from Bloom Hills in Michigan. I hope that was helpful for you, and please let us know how you go. So
definitely
see what the outcome of that is.
It seems weird how the company's done it that way.
Yeah. No, that's a private email about me going and catching up. Well, I'm overseas. I'm catching up with the boys from in Canada. So.
Yeah.
We've got a pub all sort of lined up and...
Stop it.
So it should be quite a lot of fun. All right, Joe Middleton writes in. Hi, Dave. It is a while since episode 152 dropped, so I imagine I have been beaten to the punch about this. However, just in case you haven't been told, big plane kits from Ukraine make the P8 Poseidon you mentioned, and also a whole host of injection moulded styrene kits of airliners in 72nd and 144 scale. Qantas features pretty heavily, so have a look around to let all the Aussies know. Keep up the cracking work, lads. Joel.
Yeah. I still reckon my idea for airliner kits in a frame is the way to go.
I think that that P8 Poseidon's in Australia. It's landed.
It is.
Yeah, it's at Metro Hobbies, I think.
Yeah,
saw one
I
last
could
weekend.
be really tempted by that because I've seen it, the P8 in 144th, and it looks really good. It'd be absolutely awesome in 172nd scale.
Didn't Hasegawa do a Poseidon in 72nd? I'm sure I built one when I was a kid with the mad boom hanging out the back.
Maybe, I can't remember. Ulton Rooney writes in. Oh, did I get that right? Ulton.
Oh, Alton.
Alton. All right, that'll do. Alton knows what I'm talking about. He writes in, hi Dave. You mentioned in the previous podcast you had a 172nd scale Hellier CL415 in your state. Did I say hello or Hellier?
Hellier.
Well, it is a Hellier because I've had a Hellier of a time trying to build this darn thing. I've just finished mine and thought you might be interested in seeing some photos of the completed model. Yes, it can be done, he says with a wink. As I'm one of those Luddites that does not have a Facebook account, so I'm sending the pictures all via email. My finished model is definitely no contest winner, but it looks all right from a distance. Construction wasn't too hard, but the real work was scraping off all of those oversized rivets. Yes, I know. I feel you on that. I haven't even started doing that yet. You found SMS yellow and red paints, covered the whole thing well. And it's definitely not a Tamiya quality kit, but then again, he's never built a Tamiya kit, so he can't say for sure. Go and get one, mate. They are awesome.
Hey, you don't know yourself.
But if you want to build this model of this aircraft, it's the only one in 72nd. So you could do the one in 144th, which I also have in my stash. And it's just sitting there still.
So that's a water bomber?
Yeah. It's specifically built for water bombing.
Did you just say Pacifically?
Specifically,
Okay.
I said.
Close enough.
I
And
knew what you were talking about.
interestingly, they were brought out to Australia to trial them here in Australia, but because we don't have a lot of large amounts of bodies of water sort of sitting around in bushland for them to go and sort of scoop up and drop. And also the added problem, if they use seawater, you've got issues.
Rust and stuff, or corrosion.
Oh,
No, you're
Fish.
dumping salt water onto a forest area.
Yeah.
So they
and then the fish.
and the odd scuba dive.
He's
you
a load
drag
of
up-
Yeah, was that really happen?
No, it didn't happen.
Because that was, I read
No.
somewhere once that they found a
No.
dead dude in a tree.
That was on, wasn't it? The CSI
Yeah.
episode.
Is that what
the
it was?
original CSI in Vegas. And then it was a scuba diver in a tree, and they're like, "Oh, how did he get there?" And it's like water bomber.
Scooped up. But I don't see that happening. They'd have like a
Fake.
grill in front of it anyway to stop
Surely.
large fish
Yeah.
getting in there.
So I've still got to finish mine. But interestingly, then that Hella is sort of firing up again, albeit under different owners. Maybe we can see a
Improvement?
improvement on this particular kit when it's
Well, it
issued.
doesn't help you. You got the old shitty one.
Well, I'll just throw it in the bin in the well of tears and go get the new one.
There you go.
It doesn't bother me.
No, look, there's something to be gained from throwing a kit in the bin.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
the best feeling.
It is. Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
Sometimes the space in your shelf is worth more than the kit. So you just bin it.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. What other emails we got in? That's just my reservation for a table in Paris. for
Come
dinner.
on, man.
Just rubbing it in.
Flexing on us all.
That's just my tickets for my
Yeah,
super
yeah.
fast train to Strasbourg from Paris. That's pretty much it, really. That's all
It's
we
only
got.
been a week.
Yeah, I know. All right, so if you want to write into us, you can simply send us an email to onthebench64@gmail.com. Don't forget, we're going to be away for about 4 weeks, so perhaps just hold off until we get back.
Or spam them with emails.
Yeah.
If Dave's going to go away for 5 weeks, flex and send him emails.
We love getting your emails, and it's greatly appreciated. Before we talk about new kits, the Falcon hasn't sent anything in, so we're going to have to sort of do that one off the cuff. So we'll have a bit of a chat about what Airfix has done. But before we do that, I think we need to have a quick break and have a word from our sponsor. Back very shortly. Scale Model Supply. Certified Australian made, the Scale Model Supply has a comprehensive range of premium acrylic lacquer paints that have been specifically developed to cater to the scale modeler. Designed to use straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake, pour and spray for a fast drying and extremely durable result. But wait, there's more. SMS have just released the new water-based range, Infinite Colour. It is the ideal paint for anyone who is into miniature painting. And with 48 colours that can be mixed to create any colour you want, the possibilities are, well, infinite. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, aircraft, train, car, science fiction, or even Gunpla. SMS paints will have a colour to suit you. Available now through selected stockists worldwide and online at www.scalemodeler.com.au. All right, when we're back, and as I said, the Falcon hasn't written in, so we're going to be having a bit of a chat about some of the new stuff. And the big news is Airfix with their announcement, the Gannet in 148 scale.
Really? Could they?
Hang on, all you guys are rolling your eyes.
And the ferret.
And the ferret. What? You all don't like this?
Well, the Gannet's one of the ugliest aircraft ever produced.
That's why it's so beautiful.
What, you reckon?
Yes.
It's a freaking ugly thing.
See, I think, Dave, you've been indoctrinated by the Gannet that sits down at Moorabbin.
The thing that's bent like a banana? Did you know that?
No.
No, it's bent like a banana.
Okay.
That's how they got hold of it.
Yeah.
It had a
bad landing.
Bad landing.
On a
It was
carrier.
as it was about to touch down. The carrier, I can't remember if the Sydney or the Melbourne, caught a bit of a swell and rose up, and it literally just
Pancakes.
Bent the whole airframe.
Okay. And my thing with from the first moment I ever saw a Gannet is I thought it looked like a guinea pig.
A guinea pig.
Yeah, it looks like a guinea pig.
It is an interesting looking aircraft, I guess.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fill me with, because it's Airfix.
Like I see a Gannet and I expect it to make that sound that guinea pigs make. You
And
know,
it's
that's-
not cheap either. You're looking at 55 pound.
That's cheap for a 48 scale kit.
Yeah.
Pound.
That's not bad.
Pound.
But yeah.
That's pound.
So it'll be over $100.
But then you
I suppose
compare.
it's- I suppose it's pretty big, isn't it?
But hang on. But you compare the price of that to their Buccaneer, which is nearly £90, £72. Sorry. So that's sort of starting to get up there. And there's a lot of people been saying, how come the Gannet's coming in, which is a brand new mould and everything, at 50 odd pounds, whereas the Blackburn Buccaneer's at £72. So
who knows?
It could be literally 1 million different reasons.
yeah, exactly right. You don't know what was behind the tooling and all that. So I'm truly very excited about the new Airfix announcement of the 48 scale Gannet. I reckon it's sensational, and I can't wait to get my hands on one.
And the ferret, on the other hand, the 35 scale ferret,
Well-
looks like it was made out of Lego.
It does.
Yeah, but
It's very blocky.
to be honest, we've only seen
Some very initial CAD renderings.
yes, we
yeah.
haven't seen the actual model itself. So
So was it the exhaust guard looks like it's made out of freaking battleship steel on the CAD
And the
rendering.
turret sides as well. You look
Yeah.
into the rear of the turret open, and it's a
If only the armour was
it's going up against tigers.
well, I for one will also look very seriously at getting the ferret because yeah.
Well, here in Australia, you couldn't. I remember back in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't go past an Aussie disposal store without seeing a little ferret out the front.
Yes,
right.
Dandenong Disposals used to have one sitting
yeah,
out
a
the
little
front.
ferret. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm 99% sure we actually used them in the Australian Army as well.
Yeah, if not the regulars in the CMF, in the Army Reserve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think 4th, 19th Prince of Wales Light Horse
Yep.
might have used them before M113s.
Yeah. I
before
think
carriers.
They may well have. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and £23 for a 135th scale. That's not too bad.
Actually, go back one because didn't they have also they're releasing a car model? Did I see?
Oh,
it's a Bond bug.
yeah, it's
It looks like a Reliant Robin or some type of Reliant Robin. 3 wheels.
It's a Reliant Robin with a body kit.
Yeah.
but that's a re-release. 'Cause that's one of their vintage classics.
Oh, I
so
see.
it's a re-release, and also they're re-releasing the Aerodyne as well.
Yeah, the Fairy Aerodyne. Geez, that's back in
Yeah.
the 50s and 60s, that kit.
72nd scale. It'd be great if they did it in 48 scale. That's a new one, because that'd be pretty interesting.
But geez, they'd have to really up their game. That's a pretty old, crappy kit, that one.
So, yes, as I said, and it looks to be well, without having actually seen a kit in plastic yet, it seems like they've sort of done their homework with the Gannet, and you can do it in 4 different navies operate it. So the French operated it, the Royal Navy, Australian Navy, and the Canadian Navy also.
Le Gannet.
Well. Yeah.
Le Gannet.
So
It's interesting. I'm not going to deny it's an interesting looking thing, but it's, will I build that over another Tamiya Tomcat? No.
chance.
But it's so dominating in your cabinet to look at something like this because of the shape of it and everything.
Yeah.
So
No, I get
that's
it.
the appeal.
I wonder if they're going to do what Trumpeter did with the Wyvern.
What's that?
Well, with the 48 scale Wyvern, you get a little gearbox. So when you turn one propeller, the back one spins the other
Contra
way.
rotates.
Yeah.
Because
Dunno.
my little Wyvern does that.
FX wouldn't be able to get that technology right.
Couple of little nylon gears.
And as much as Airfix sort of drive me around the twist, I've got a soft spot for him because that's what I first started building when I first got into the hobby when I was a kid. And yeah, I'm glad to see him bring this out. What can I say?
Well, if they're bringing out new kits, it means they're still going well.
They didn't bring out the 350 scale Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier yet again.
rabbiting.
Airfix, hello, are you listening? Hang on, let me tap the mic. Hello, am I getting through to you?
You want your Queen Elizabeth, don't you?
Yeah.
You could tap your way all the way through that microphone and you still wouldn't get what you want.
All right, have you guys got any sort of new stuff at all that...
Not really, no.
Tamiya have hinted at a new release in February this year, 2023. So be interesting to see what...
Armour or...
no, just a new release. No.
February. Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's Nuremberg, maybe.
All right.
It's the toy fair in Europe. So
Interesting.
very interesting. So I've got hopes and dreams as to what it might be, but ultimately, who knows with Tamiya. They play their cards pretty close to their chest.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
But it's always like with other companies, you get a good idea what's coming out, and next thing you know, Tamiya just goes, "Oh, look, we got this," and everyone goes, "Where'd that come from?"
I think at some point
Phantom is with an N.
Sorry, I'm just trying to set something up for our next part of the chat. So,
And then an M at the end.
yeah. I had my English around the wrong way.
I'm expecting them at some point, but maybe not for another year or two, to bring out a Datsun 240Z version in like more of a more modernized sort of street version. With normal size wheels instead of the 1970s frisbee wheels. That's what I'm waiting for. This is the thing. Like with Tamiya, if they bring out a new kit, you can usually expect them to do a secondary version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was talking to someone this morning about, I know we're not talking Phantoms yet, but hopefully Tamiya releasing a C model F4 Phantom, because I think, and I'm absolutely showing my ignorance, that a C model Phantom is really just an Air Force B model. So
Right.
it's effectively the same. There's no avionics difference in the cockpit and stuff, but effectively shape-wise, it's the same as a Navy B. So and then you could do it in the Southeast Asia camo scheme. So which is
cool.
the one we're kind of all hoping for.
Yeah.
Don't forget also we have our Facebook page for everybody joining on called On Your Bench. It's been going gangbusters with everybody sort of jumping on and joining up and posting.
And also noticed that we've also had a few Nigerian princes try and get onto our
Yes.
page.
Yeah, that's so common on Facebook at the moment, isn't it?
But it's interesting because MD Scale Models,
Which is our good mate Martin Drayton.
yes, has posted his Toasted Jagdpanzer, which is an absolute
Amazing kit.
gorgeous model that he's done. This is a particular one where it's actually been hit and destroyed and cooked up. But he's gone so far as to delaminate the actual paint on the side of the
I wonder how he's
Jagdpanzer.
managed to do that.
He might have done a thing with paper.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe like I mean, Martin will no doubt tell us, but it's like he slid a blade between the plastic and the paint and able to lift the edge of the paint up.
But he would have had to put it on pretty thick to actually.
Yeah, unless it's like a latex layer or something.
I don't know, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And this particular one in real life, there's a photo where it says it's a black and white photo where it's taken of it being destroyed, and some Allied soldiers have come along and written on the side, this don't work.
Spearhead caught it.
Yeah.
Too bad.
And he's actually replicated that writing on the side of it as well. And we're not sure whether it's a decal or he's done
He's
that
hand
by
painted it or either way.
Yeah.
He's done the full diorama as well. So he's built the building. It's quite a famous photo. It's in front of a building that's completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And he scratch built the building.
Yeah.
And do you know what the kicker for all this is? He is a flight crew for on an airline.
Yeah.
And he does this while travelling, obviously not on the plane, but in the hotel room at night.
Yeah.
He's building models this calibre.
Yeah,
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's great.
Yeah.
He's definitely a talented lad.
He's one of the best little secrets we found when we were over in the US last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice guy to boot.
Terrific fella.
So, yeah. All right. So don't forget to pop along and have a look, sign up, and show us your kits. Don't be afraid to show us what you're doing, and
And we still while we're on the page, we've got to mention our good friend Greg Lester.
Oh my
With
God. He's doing that Japanese
The something Maru.
Maru. I can't think of what it is.
But
There's something or other Maru.
Yeah.
Something or other, Maru.
it's the Hasegawa kit that's as rare as Rocking
That's
Horse Shop.
amazing.
And he's just as being Greg Lester, he's just hit it well at the ballpark.
There's just so much rigging.
All the
those
cranes,
blocks and tackles and things like that.
Yeah.
It's-
And like he's even
350?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1 to
350.
350.
Wow.
Like even the cargo bays, the doors are open, and he's got stuff in the cargo bays. It's,
Yeah,
it's an amazing build. It
But
just
more than that,
blows my mind.
it's a weathering that he's done that's
Yeah.
impressing the
all
heck
the
out of me.
barnacles and things on the bottom.
Yeah.
Well done, Greg. Can't wait to see that one in me with me own 2 peepers.
Yeah. Well,
But no, keep posting everything on there, guys, because we do
Absolutely.
look at it and we absolutely love it.
absolutely. All right. Well, how about we dive into our main topic, and we're talking about building the F4 Phantom, and that's why we've got Sam in today, because Sam is currently building a Meng one.
Meng F4G Wild Weasel
There you
2
go.
Phantom.
So before we dive into your actual build and how you've gone through it, we're spoilt for choices with Phantoms that you
It's
can buy.
fantastic, yeah.
You can get them in 72nd scale, you can get them in 1/44th scale, you can get them in 48 scale, you can get them in 32nd scale. And the choice of Air Forces to actually show them in
Yeah.
is just mind-boggling. You've got the Israel Air Force, you've got the German Luftwaffe, you've got the US, of course, Navy and Air Force, Marines as well.
Yeah, Marines use them, yeah.
Royal Air Force, Royal Navy.
Yes.
Yeah, Iranian, Greek.
Yes.
So the Greeks use F4Es, and there's a conversion for the Zukimura kit for all the Greek mods, and their camo is fantastic, and they get so dirty. as
Yeah,
well.
and I love that's what I love about the
Yeah,
Great.
so
They
dirty.
really look filthy.
Japanese Air Force.
Yep.
Australian Air Force.
Yep.
Yeah.
We used them for a couple of years
Yep.
while we were waiting for the
For the
F111s. And it's just, what's it, Koreans as well, I think? Or maybe not.
No, I'm not sure.
Anyway, there's a whole host of different ones. So I think out of all of them, the ones that I like the most just visually to look at would have to be either the Israeli Air Force with their lovely camo pattern,
Yeah, that
or the Southeast Asian camo pattern that was used by the US Air Force and indeed by the Royal Australian Air Force.
That's the classic look, isn't
That
it?
is.
That's
Yes.
why I did my one like that.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I do like the Japanese ones though. Every now and then someone will do one of the Japanese ones in the two-tone blues.
Yep.
I like that look. It's very different. It sort of stands out, and got the big red Hinimarus on the side.
And the Japanese also do that thing where they put that real special artwork on it from time to time for a special occasion.
Oh yeah,
I think the last ones that were ready to retire from the Japanese
right.
Air Force, they did something similar like that. It was just a gorgeous sort of pattern
Yeah.
to look at. Absolutely
It's just
stunning.
it's an amazing aircraft. It really is. It's so ugly, but also it's so great.
And we're spoiled for choice with some fantastic kits that are out there now. So you mentioned Zukimura.
Yep. They do a raft of F4s, earlies to lates, long nose, short nose, you name it. Tamiya obviously in 32 scale with they've got half a dozen in 32, and then their benchmark model, their F4B in 48 scale.
Which I've just got. Yep.
You were right. You were right, Dave.
Yep.
South Korea did use Phantoms.
Thought they did.
Who else we got here? Iran,
Yep.
Greece,
Yep.
Turkey,
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Egypt.
Turkey, yeah. Oh,
Germany.
Egypt used them.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Germany, because you get
Spain.
the old like Maltese cross or whatever it is
Yeah.
you call it.
So it was a bit like the P40, you know. Try and find a nation that
Or
hasn't used one.
P51 Foundation that hasn't used
Yep.
that as well, yeah. So we're mentioning different kit brands. So as you can, Tamir, we're just talking about
Yeah.
that. With
Yeah.
as you said, the latest
Hasegawa,
benchmark.
a 35 or 40 year history of doing Phantoms.
Yeah, that was my one and only. Was
Every model and everything you can think of.
I still remember seeing like a whole bunch of people, trying to do the Academy one, and at the time it was pretty in 48 scale. That was one of the better kits.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I watched other people do it. I'm like, nah, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Yeah, I remember as a kid building one. It was on one of the first kits I built with my old man. Was a Hasegawa Phantom, and then discovered the true hobby, 35 scale armor, and then came back and Tamir's Phantom in 32 scale is really nice. I built their CD in 32 scale, but then their 48 scale B model is just the best thing ever. It really is. It's so good.
Yeah, I know. I almost want to build one and then throw my current one in the bin, just because I know it'll be a pleasant experience until I get to the decals.
So Sam,
I'd probably get after market decals anyway.
well, first of all, Julian, so which one did you build? Which brand did you
I
build?
built the Zuke Mirror one.
Right. And how did you find the construction for that?
It was interesting.
It was interesting.
Well,
That's a good way of putting it.
I didn't. I know people like to whinge about it. I didn't find it was that bad.
Yeah.
I encountered so one area of note that people have been talking about lately is the spine.
Yeah.
The separated spine, right? I like it because it's a departure from the conventional method of running the.
You don't have to fill and rescribe those circular series of circular panels down, hatches or whatever they are down the centre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw doing that. I don't want to.
No way. Yeah.
I've thrown out models where I had to scribe through circles.
Yeah. But Tamiya did the drop-in spine panel, and it falls on a seam line, a panel line.
Yeah.
And there's no.
Yep.
It's perfect. You can't tell where that spine has dropped in if you glue it.
Oh, really?
With a Tamiya,
So
it's
that
that
nice.
good. Engineering's that good. Whereas Zukimura, theirs doesn't fall on a panel line, so you've got to protect panel line and a line of rivets to fill a gap.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
which is kind of
yeah.
unfortunate.
That
Yeah,
is
Matt McDougall's going through that at the moment with he's building the Zukimura G,
Yes.
and the Men kit as well, and he's just had to refill and rescribe all that. So to get
It also has some other fit issues. Mine sits just a hair too low, so that
it's full of fuel.
Yeah, the
Spine
the
that we just talked
curvature,
about, yeah.
the spine bit sits a little too low because it's only supported at either end, and
Yeah.
it's quite long. It's a long strip of plastic, so in the middle it tends to sort of drop a little bit, and it really needed some extra supporting things. But I just sort of filled it up with glue and just dropped it in there, and then afterwards I was like, oh, well, that's not
Again,
perfect.
referring to Dukes, he suggests, we saw someone do it and he's done it himself, is you drill holes up from the inside
Yeah.
and push it up with a toothpick when the glue's drying so that you've got an opportunity to sort of raise that centre section and have it glue in the right spot. Because the holes get covered over by the spine panel.
Yeah.
So you don't see them. It's
Yeah.
just for ease of access.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
But
yeah.
other areas of that I found it was a bit lacking is you've got these sort of V-shaped leading edge panels. So the idea is that it caps over both the top half and the bottom half onto the leading edge.
Yep. Maybe forward edge slats in real life, wouldn't they be, that would move forward?
Yeah, well, this kit doesn't
have them.
Yeah. And the problem is the surface detail on those parts is weak because they're molded V-shaped pointing upwards rather than sort of to the side. And it's not great. It's not great. And the way they fit together, on one side it was perfect, and on the other side it almost came up a bit short, and I had to fill at the leading edge, at the wing root. It wasn't great in there.
I believe they've worked on it. So the later model, like the G that's just been released by Zuki, is supposed to be a lot better than the earlier ones. I bought a G model just because why not? The Zuki kit, and it arrived this week, and it's like, oh yeah, building the Meng kit is it's chalk and cheese. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into that then. So, what made you want to build the Meng kit over, say, the Tamiya kit or the Zukimura kit?
So I built the Tamiya B model already.
Right.
That's one with the Sundowner's tail,
Yes.
all lots of stuff. So that was a joy to build. It's a short-nosed version, whereas the G model is a long nose, and it's a wild weasel, so it's got missiles galore, anti-radiation missiles or Hellfires or whatever you want to fit on it.
Very cool.
And I ordered it and got it sent from Hobby Easy in Japan, Hobby Easy in Hong Kong, and it arrived the same day as Tamiya's F-35. And I'm like, Tamiya's F-35 or F4 Phantom. And honestly, I looked at the F-35 and went, that's an absolute amazing tour de force, like best engineered thing you'll ever build. But I started picking apart the sprues and looking at the detail on the Meng Phantom. It's really great. So I thought, you know what? That's got lots of character. That looks like it'll be a fun build. Let's go with that. So, and it is a ripper. It's really great. So there are issues with it, definitely. As with all Meng kits, they get to about 80%, 85% and go, and I'm done. So there's some stuff that could be done better or that's missing off the kit entirely, and I'll happily detail that. But mostly the kit is outstanding. Yeah.
I was just reminded, just looking at these photos of your build, with my Zukimura kit, it came with two canopies, one where the entire canopy is one piece.
Yeah, that's clever.
And one where it's all the separate pieces so that you can have them all open. So I just used the other one as a mask.
Yeah, that's great.
I just chucked that on there.
Yep.
Painted right over the top, no problem.
I did that with something recently. What did I do that with? Oh, I did it with the Edward Wildcat. So you get a couple of different canopies.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right, yes.
Yeah, so I just used the closed canopy as the mask.
Yeah.
There you go. Done. Problem solved. Yeah.
All right, well, step us through the build process for your Meng F4.
Well, probably the first thing to call out with the Meng kit is that entire upper fuselage is one piece.
Wow.
So there's no spine drop in.
Okay.
It's all one piece. Mm-hmm. And it is dead straight where it's supposed to be straight, because obviously it's very curvy. But it was flawless. There's no mold seams on it. There's no hidden things to remove. It is flawless. So that's amazing. So probably the downside of that is that the cockpit pushes in from underneath. That's awesome, but there's no sidewall details on the inside of the cockpit.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is a bit screwy.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, a bit mind you look down in there with the canopy open, you can barely see anything in there anyway.
Yeah, okay.
But that's kind of not the point. There's nothing there.
Yep.
And they would have done that because the engineering, I would imagine, to get a slide mold that to somehow fit up inside that cockpit well, to get side panel details, would be astronomical. Or to have it so thin that you could have side panels that glued to the cockpit tub. Either way, it's a nightmare to do. So they've left it blank.
So when you say that fuselage is all in one piece,
Yes.
is it from the start of the cockpit all the way back
From
to
the nose cone. So the nose cone is a separate piece.
from there?
Yeah.
So from where the radome.
So the
Yep.
radome is
Yep.
a separate piece. There's a long pod underneath the radome that you may be able to see in some of the other photos.
Yeah.
That's a single piece that slots in, and there's no panel. It sits on panel gaps,
Yep.
and it fits in like a Tamiya part.
Wow.
That's how good it was. It was astonishing. Whereas notice on the Zukimura G, that's a two-part halved piece. You've got to
Yeah.
glue together, fill the seams, and then fit into the fuselage.
Yeah.
Whereas this thing is it's a
piece.
one-piece slot
Yep.
in. So you've got the sort of like the spine of the cockpit sill, and then the spine of the aircraft is one piece in this.
Yep.
The tail is a separate section.
Yep.
And the underside is the whole sort of V of the wings, if you
Right.
like, and the underside of the nose.
Yes.
And all the join lines fit on panel gaps. So it all just effectively slots together.
Yep.
And it fits so well, really. So there was no warping in the kit. It was perfect. So, and then the rear section where the exhaust is, there's other photos of that.
Yeah.
That sort of slots in from underneath, and that captures the rear wings as well.
I'll have to go back to that.
Yeah, I might have to go back. It just the fit of it. Yeah. So that's maybe those photos there. So that whole rear section, effectively, see where my demarcation line is between the metal and the
grey.
grey.
Yep.
That's where the panel line sort of sits in. It's that good, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so
wow.
in theory you could paint that separately. I
Yep.
didn't.
Yep.
But you could. I masked it all off. The tail is a separate piece that you drop in.
Sure.
As is the rudder onto the tail, so that's a whole separate piece as well. You can see they're slightly different colours. I painted those differently.
Yep.
So it all is very modular. It all just fits together very, very well. And that was the kind of the draw card for me. And I think that's what Meng do really well, is that they make kits, like they make aircraft kits for armour modelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I get you. I get you.
kind of thing.
That's why you're building them.
Yeah, absolutely. and it goes together well. And look, there's stuff to call out that's not fabulous about the kit.
Yeah.
Like ejector seats aren't great.
Okay.
The seats, the sides are pretty cool. They're relatively well detailed, and the pull handle canopy, the ejection handles are really nice.
Yep.
But there's no parachute sort of top detail. The seat cushions are really vague, and it looks to me like they were going to put pilot figures in it,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
and they ran out of time or money or
Decided not to put
whatever.
pilots, yeah.
And they never included the pilots. So that's what it looks like. Is why would you put effort into doing seat cushions if you're going to chuck a pilot in it? There's also no seat belts, so that's kind of
Oh, really?
Yeah, which
Not
is
even as decals.
not even as decals. So again, that screams we're going to include a pilot.
So what did you do to overcome that?
I haven't got to that bit yet.
Oh, okay. You haven't done the
No,
the
so
tub.
the seats are still in the raw plastic. I was just
Sure.
going to, because I'm building it out of box.
Yep. Okay.
So I don't want to add anything, but I think with our local out of box rules, you can add seat belts.
You can.
So
You
I've
can.
got a set of
Seatbelts,
etched seat belts.
Was it seat belts?
Aerials,
Aerials.
yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Okay.
And so that's fine, and they'll build up, and that'll look fine in the cockpit. They're relatively well detailed.
Yep.
What else? You know the splitter plates with the intakes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Between the splitter plates and the fuselage, there should be horizontal
Yep.
bird slicers, I think they're called, or little strakes that hold. I'm guessing they hold the splitter plate from wobbling in
Yep.
flight.
Yep.
There's only one. There should be like 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's,
Okay.
I think 4.
Yeah. And you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, easy to add if you wanted to. Just bits of plastic card.
Yeah.
Real easy, but they're not there. There's only one of them.
Okay.
You know.
So have you added the extras, or
I have not.
Because you're doing
Out of box.
Out of box.
This one's out of
So
box,
it-
yeah.
as it is.
What else? Look, the weapons are good. They're not great, but they're certainly doable. You know, they're pretty good. But that's kind of that's the weapons there. So look, they're perfectly serviceable. You can always replace them with Edward or Res Kit weapons if you wanted to go down.
So
that
there
Right.
comes with sparrows.
Sparrows and it comes with
harms.
2 different so sparrows and harms and 2 different ECM pods, which
Okay.
is cool. That's that white thing in the background, the ECM pod. I've added some magnets to my pylons because you can either do
Seen that.
drop tanks or harms. So
Yep.
I've done both,
Right.
and so you can just magnetize and change them out.
Change them out. Yeah. Yep.
And you can see I've painted one of the drop tanks. It looks like black and white, but it's actually forest green and light grey. It's the Southeast Asia camo drop tank. Because there's photos of these things in the Gulf War with mixed and matched drop tanks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm doing. First Gulf War, dropping bombs on radar stations in Iraq.
Yeah. So with the magnets you say you use, so
Yeah.
whereabouts do you purchase them from? If anybody's interested.
Yeah, a little retail spot called Amazon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you might have heard of them. Yeah. And I just found 2mm by 1mm round magnets.
Okay.
And it's like 300 of them were $12.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, and they are microscopic. As you can imagine, they're
Yep.
2mm round and 1mm thick.
Yep.
And I just drill into the wing. It was all glued together. I thought, let's see how deep the wing is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the plastic in the
scary
wing.
bit.
And is it going to push through? It didn't cut through the wing.
Right.
And that's kind of another thing that I like about Meng's aircraft kits. You get plenty of plastic.
Yep.
So you can get some really good solid joins when you glue things together. Anyway, so yeah, drill the 2mm hole into the wing, thumb a little magnet in there, drill a 2mm hole in the pylon, thumb a magnet in there, check the polarities right.
Yes, check the
Otherwise,
before
otherwise
you do
they're
it.
pickling those drop tanks a lot, and then they just snap on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bit of super glue in there to hold them once you know that they're all set.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's plenty of plastic there.
Yeah.
there's always more plastic than you think once you actually have to start grinding things away.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh
man! Like when you get those photo etch sets and you go, oh, I'll put the flaps in
when
there.
does this end?
Yeah.
I'm still grinding.
And you're like being able to see through. I was like, there's still not enough.
So much
away.
plastic. Yeah, but that's kind of what I like about the Meng kits is that there's plenty of detail on them. But also, if you need to, apply a lot of glue to get a good bead or whatever. Plenty of plastic there, and it takes glue really well.
What sort of glue have you been using lately as your go-to?
Just Tamiya super thin. Yeah, it is extra thin, super thin. Yeah, and sometimes if I need a fast bond, I use the quick type.
Yeah,
but I find that's really hot, so it evaporates super fast.
Yes.
So I just go with the darker green lid stuff, and it works fine. Yeah.
Just going back to your magnets and getting the polarity right, because it's so small, the thought that occurred to me is get two of the magnets together and just do a quick bit of paint around it.
Yeah.
And both of those paints, as you know, the ones that have to be exposed to...
In the end, I was just using... They come in... Like, it's a little plastic container they come in sort of thing, and there's 300 of them in there. They'll sort out their own polarity on their own. So that's fine. Yeah. So you just use the stack... I just grab a stack of them out of the box and use the stack to set my polarity. Because you know that it's only going to go a certain... They want to sit a certain way. And there's probably a really clever scientific way using a marker or something, but it just worked. So ended up... The weight of the drop tanks was a bit more than the weight of the pylon with the harms on it.
Right.
So they'd hold the pylons with the missiles no problem with two magnets. Yep. But the drop tanks needed 3. So I just chucked another magnet in. You know. So
at 2 mils, you're not going to notice it.
Honestly, you can't see it. You can't see it. So and it works. It's a gimmick. So if it ever goes to a model comp, I'll have to glue something on because. You know, the judge will be like, "What's happening? It's loose. There's a panel gap." You know, or some rubbish. So
we just write in your builder's notes that these magnetise reasons.
That's right. Yeah. And so, look, what I wanted to flag as well. A couple of episodes ago, you guys had on Dr. Strangebrush.
Yes.
And I tuned into that, and I'm the worst airbrusher that ever picked up an airbrush, and I'll be the first to put my hand up to say that. The information that he talked about with you guys was just mind-bendingly great.
Gold. Yeah,
it was so good. And he talked about most of us under-thin our paint, and I'm absolutely that guy. And so this was the first model I've done since hearing that episode of the podcast, where I thinned the paint appropriately, and it worked flawlessly. The paint is smooth, and I was able to work out. You can see in that photo, you can see the mottling of the underside of it. So I did some black mottling over the grey plastic to start with.
Yep.
Then built up the camouflage layers over the top of that. Thinned appropriately, and it works. It was so great. So,
and what paint are you using?
That is Gunz. Gunz lacquers, actually. So Gunz lacquer for the darker grey, and it's Gunz Mr. Hobby for the lighter grey, and it's the right FS number. I could tell you one of them, but the difference between the two greys wasn't enough. So this is the Hill 2 camo scheme, the 2 greys, and in sunlight it's the grey is very light, whereas in other lights the grey is quite dark. The lighter grey is quite dark. So I went on the lighter side, so I had to do some mixing, which I hate doing.
Well, talking about your paint thinning and that, and if anybody's heading off to IPMS Nationals this year, Nemo from the Model Geeks podcast. That guy is a master on the way he applies his paints, and he's always been of the school, super thin it down and just keep going back over and over and over and over until you get it to the level that you want.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever gets an opportunity to see some of his models in real life, they are just jaw-droppingly amazing. His paint that he's done. He's just an absolute master of painting. And it's only because he thins it. And he super thins it. And yes, it means you've got to go over it, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 times or whatever until the opaque.
It doesn't matter because your paint's so thin, you're not including detail.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly
and honestly, this is the smoothest and best paint job I've ever done out of the airbrush. So this had no weathering yet. And it is. I look at it. I just find myself staring at it, going, "This is so great," because I thin my paints properly.
Well, looking at the fuselage, and if anyone wants to see some pictures, just jump onto our Facebook page on your bench, or and I'm assuming you got it on your own page as well, Sam.
Yep.
But you have got some actually mottling in there on the fuselage. How did you achieve that?
So that's just Tamiya, what is it, LP 2 or 3, whatever their flat black is, their lacquer flat black. And, you know, the airbrush templates, those mottling templates.
Yes.
Just literally sprayed some of that randomly straight onto the plastic.
Right.
So no primer, nothing. Again, super thin, just moved it all around. So there's just some random black squiggles and shapes and stuff. I did some panel lines as well.
Now, did you do your panel lining before you did your top coat? Were you doing pre-panel lining?
Yeah, so pre-panel, just in some spots where there was some of the I guess where panels would be opened,
like along the wing root there, for
wing
example.
root, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see that there, and so just nothing scientific at all. Just sprayed away and squiggled around, and then built up the layers of grey over the top of that.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Really, really simple stuff that I'm sure every aircraft modeler does. It's like certainly not reinventing the wheel at all.
No. Well, that's looking really good. So let's move on now and have perhaps a bit of chat about the burners, the cans, the metal
finish,
side, the metal finish of it. What did you do to get to that stage?
So that's just again, it's bare plastic.
And I've got to say, the F4, this is what actually makes or breaks a good kit of the F4 is the arse end getting done properly.
Yeah.
Like
And so look, and
like
that
F100.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, that staining on the rear of the fuselage, the blue tint to the titanium and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's done well.
So look,
and we're like sometimes it'll burn through the paint.
love it.
Yeah.
It's so great. so great. So that's another, I guess, a criticism that's been levelled at the men kit is the ribbing on that sort of underside of the rear.
Right.
It's overdone.
Overdone.
So in reality, it's not as ribbed in real life as that. But look at it with paint on it.
Yeah.
It looks like that hot and that darker and lighter stained metal. So that's what they were going for, and it looks so for knuckleheads like me who would never mask that up and get that right. I think it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's not weathered yet. That's just a couple of different colours of metal colour. There's been no exhaust staining on that. There's been nothing on heat staining on it yet. So,
And what's your choice of metal colours?
I went with AK Extreme metal.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Right.
and this is the first time I used their black base.
Oh,
which
right.
is just black paint. But it's super thin though. It took a ton of coats to cover it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like clear black. It's that thin, and that's just masked it up over the where it needs to be painted the black base, and then just different colours like duraluminium. And then pale burnt metal, dark burnt metal, and then went back and touched up some areas with Tamiya. What is it? I keep saying TS. TS is their spray paint. LP11.
LP,
their silver.
yeah. I love their LP range. It's brilliant.
Yep. And you can see in that photo the little triangular wedge in the centre of the tail.
Yes.
One's silver and one's grey.
Yeah.
Because I masked one of them wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Such a rookie.
Oh, well, you're allowed to get things wrong.
And but then
It makes me feel better when you get things wrong.
Adds character.
The paint's so hardy, you just masked over it and just touch it up and away you go. Like it's and so that's not weathered yet. It's just that's straight out of the bottle. A couple of different shades of metallic paint, and they get really black back there. Really black. So the undersides will be black. There's some funny patchy masking to be done on the top side as well in that metal bit, but I'll get to that. That's all separate still. The wings are the little wing flappy dealy things.
Yeah.
Rudders? No, not rudders. What are they?
Elevons.
Elevons?
I just call them tail feathers.
Real wing
Shake your
thingies.
tail feathers.
Yeah, tail feathers.
Every aircraft guy's going, make him stop.
Anyway, we know what you're talking about. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
And so look, the turkey feathers, I've got those ready to paint up as well. They're multiple part, quite nice. I mean, look, I would imagine that aftermarket guys are already frantically catting up some replacements. Res Kit and Edouard will be bound to release aftermarket exhausts for it. The kit parts aren't terrible though. Yeah, for an out of box kit, it looks really good.
Now you've actually started doing your and this picture. I saw another picture. You've actually started doing your you have started doing your weathering.
A little bit.
So you've done
yeah.
your panel line wash.
Panel line wash is it's Tamiya enamel panel line wash.
So before you do that, what's your coat, clear coat?
Yeah. Okay. So my methodology with this one is paint, clear coat. I'm still a proponent of clear coat.
Yep.
And I'm Guns GX 112, which is their just their clear gloss.
Acrylic clear gloss.
Yeah. So cut with 60% thinners.
Okay.
You know, because it's quite thin.
Yep.
And it goes on like glass and dries
does, yeah.
overnight. And I was decaling the next day.
Yep.
Actually, I was decaling later that day. Kit decals are phenomenal.
Okay.
They're kit decals. And the SP and the slime lights and the TFW, they're
Which
three
is on the
different-
tail, yep.
On the tail, they're 3 different decals.
Okay.
So you apply the markings first, then put the slime lights over the top.
Yep.
And they're wafer thin.
Yep.
There's no edge to them at all. They're amazing. They a little bit of Guns mark softer and stuff.
Yep.
And they just disappear into the panel lines. So
Oh, wow.
They're so good. Best kit decals I've ever used. They're really,
really?
Oh,
really
that's a big call.
amazing.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazing.
Are they cartograph printed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cartograph. So that's fine. So so gloss coat and then let that dry for a couple of days.
Yep.
And let the decals really dry for a couple of days
Yep,
as well.
yep.
Back to work. So and then Tamiya panel line wash, the dark brown one.
So you put in Tamiya panel line wash on top of the decals without first sealing the decals?
Correct. Because they're dry.
Okay.
And they're kind of glossy anyway.
Yep.
And they're dry. The adhesive is dry, so
Okay.
you're not going to damage them.
Yep.
And it went straight over the top. That photo hasn't had the decal wash in them.
No.
But there's other photos that and it just the wash just goes straight over the decals, no problem.
Yep.
And I then dampen up a Q-tip with the thinners, with Tamiya enamel thinners, and just clean the model off with that. And it goes straight over the decals, doesn't damage them at all.
Yeah.
You give it some time to dry, give everything
Yeah.
a bit of a moment to dry, and then you're fine.
I have been recently using, for a long time, I just could not seem to get the Tamiya panel line stuff to work.
Okay.
I just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
And it would sort of stain, even though I'd sort of glossed the model, it was still stained, and trying to get it
Yeah.
off, I was having all sorts of trouble. And I was listening to, I've forgotten who I listened to now. They said use lighter fluid
Okay.
to get rid of it,
Okay.
and mind blown.
And it removes it.
It removes it, yeah. It removes it so well, and lighter fluid evaporates like that as well.
Right.
The only trouble is you got to constantly keep
Sure.
wetting your Q-tip to do it.
Sure.
But lighter fluid just evaporates that
Yeah,
well.
okay.
And I've found that as a fantastic way.
Yep.
Nemo from Model Geeks, he was the one who mentioned it many moons
Right.
ago.
Yeah,
And-
that's awesome.
And so I've been using that now with my Tamiya panel line stuff, and
Yeah. Okay.
mind blown.
Yeah. I hate to be that guy. I've never had a problem. It always works.
Well, I've never thought to use the damn Tamiya
Enamel thinners.
enamel thinners. That's
'Cause
never
it's
occurred
it's
to
an
me.
enamel paint. So
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I know. For some reason, it never occurred to me.
And so even it works better. So I use Coles brand, so supermarket brand Q-tips.
Yeah.
Earbud,
Yeah.
ear stabbers.
Yep.
And
It's Davis.
and they're okay, but they're too fluffy and too absorbent. So what you'll do is I keep some kitchen paper towel on the
Yeah.
on the bench. I dunk the Q-tip in the thinners and then wick off most of the thinners into the paper towel
Yep.
because you don't want it too wet. And then clean your you go through a ton of cotton buds,
Yeah.
cotton tips, doesn't matter. Then you clean off your panel line wash, and then you find that you don't have to go and reapply. Because sometimes if your cotton bud's too wet or your panel line wash is still wet,
Yeah.
you go to remove it.
take too much
It's all
off.
gone.
Yeah.
So you got to go and reapply. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find brush it on, let it surface dry,
Yep.
touch dry. It doesn't matter over gloss.
Yep.
It'll always come off.
Yep.
Barely dampen your Q-tip, or even better if you've got not the supermarket brand but the Guns brand, because they're much denser.
Yep.
And they don't absorb as easily.
And there's not the little hairy bit sticking
Correct.
off, because the supermarket brand ones that I buy, I have my lighter sitting there, and I'll just wave it through the flame,
Run
just
it past the-
to burn off all those extra
Clever.
furry bits that are hanging there.
Okay, good
Just
idea.
whisk it through very quickly, and it just
Yeah.
takes off all those
Before you put it.
before you put the lighter fluid on or whatever.
Why haven't I got any eyebrows, Dave?
And I find it takes off all the
There you go.
furry bits, and
Yeah.
it takes off the furry bits that are more likely to drop off the
Yes.
bud when
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
doing it.
Well, the Gunze ones, they are
Oh, that's sensational.
amazing. And
Yep.
I found that I used the Gunze ones on this.
Expensive, but good.
Yeah, look, exactly. They are expensive, but and then I found that I didn't need to go and reapply. There was no panel line wash that wandered off and disappeared. It all stayed in the panel, and also the panel lines you can see in the photos are quite thick as well. So,
yep.
And that's another criticism people have said. Oh, look, the panel lines are a bit thick, and look, compared to the Zuki kit, yes, they are.
What about the Tamiya kit?
Yeah, compared to the Tamiya kit, they are as well.
Okay.
And look, it's something I can live with because I don't know, it kind of looks good once it's all weathered up.
Yep.
You know, so
Yeah, one of the criticisms of the Zuko mirror kit is the rear fuselage leading down to the engines is not shaped correctly apparently.
And they've definitely fixed that on the G model. Yeah, I've seen that called out, and I think even you can buy a resin drop in.
Who's going to be dealing with that? It's like
no way.
You would just buy a different kit.
You would, yeah. I'll just wait for the Tamiya kit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I knew that because at the time there was only the Zuke mirror kit, the Hasegawa, and the Academy kit. And I was like, you know what, just give me the most modern kit you've got.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yep. And so look, the interesting thing with this one's going to be weathering it. So, panel line wash is the start of the weathering process, and it's had the panel line wash, and it's now been dull coated. I've started to glue a few bits and pieces on it, standing on its undercarriage now.
So does it need any assistance with the undercarriage in regards to weighting? Any weights in the model? Okay.
No, it's perfect. It sits perfectly as it should, which is amazing. It's definitely not a tail dragger. But these were quite clean aircraft. And so they came over from Europe. They were stationed in Turkey and bombed the snot out of Saddam's radar sites from Turkey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, which is kind of cool. So, and they were quite clean. So there's still an opportunity to weather, but it's finding that sort
balance.
Of balance of relevance. They're not weathered like the Navy Phantoms in Vietnam, or even the Phantoms that were flying out of Thailand in Vietnam, the Air Force ones. They were quite clean, but still dirty, but just appropriately dirty sort of thing. So
with the F4, everybody sort of comes across, because there are a ton of decals usually that go on, walk here, done step here, all those.
Yep.
Is this kit got all those decals?
No, it does not.
Right.
No, and I'm not that far down the rabbit hole to know exactly the extent of the stencils on these G models, these late ones. When we were in Omaha last year, I picked up just across the road from the Plastic Posse guys was Fun Decals.
Yes, I saw it.
And they've got a full stencil set decal, and it's an A4 sheet, or is it 3 A4 sheets in the pack. They don't give you instructions for it because it's a download off the internet. It's a 200-page PDF.
Oh my God.
That details every stencil and how it should look. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I look at it and go, well, cool, back in the box.
Yeah.
And when I do, the day that Tamiya does a C model, I'll bust them out and put them on a Tamiya
Actually,
kit.
have any of you guys ever seen, is it the Antonov 224, is it the Revell kit in 1 to 144 scale? The decal sheet is, I think it's A3.
Seriously?
Wow.
It is.
Holy cow.
And most of it is stencils.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Stencils are alternately the most annoying thing in modelling, but also the most satisfying thing. Because
Yeah.
once you get them on, and like all the pylons, for example, there's about a dozen
Well, for
markings.
those missiles or the
the missiles, exactly right. Yeah. And the pylons have got probably a dozen markings on either side of the pylon. There's 4 pylons. Those yellow stripes on the Sparrows, they're decals.
Wow.
So you got the yellow motor, live rocket, live warhead stripe that goes around the missile, but it's got 4 sort of strakes around it as well of yellow, which I don't know what they're for, but anyway.
But I'm just looking at these all here. Look at them.
Yeah, they're the Sparrows. Yeah, so and they've got the brown. The brown band means that they've got a live rocket motor in them.
Yep.
And then the yellow band means it's got a live warhead.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
which I found out the hard way on my Tomcat because I don't know what I'm doing, and I put blue bands on my Sparrows.
Yep. They look good.
Sidewinders. And Andrew Perrin, local modelling guy, he emails me, dude, what are you doing? You put dummy warhead stuff on. Oh, thanks, man. Quick respray, touch it up.
Oh, so blues for a dummy warhead then?
Blues for prac rounds, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Which, when you think about it, every other weapon system in the NATO arsenal, the prac round version of it is blue.
Yeah.
Dummy bombs, the tiny little dummy blue bombs that the aircraft drop are all blue.
Yeah.
Tank rounds, the prac rounds are all blue.
In the army, everything was blue for practice.
Yep.
Everything live was yellow.
Yep. So it's kind of consistent.
Yep.
Isn't it? So.
Yep. The missiles that actually come with it, I think we touched on it before, but are they quite good, or are they just average that come with the main
for
kit?
kit parts, I think they're perfectly fine, and they look. They're all mounted on pylons now, so the Sparrows sit under the fuselage.
Yes.
And they will go in the fuselage later on. But the harms, the white ones, are all mounted on pylons now, and they look $1 million on the pylons. They look really great. Then look, I know, for example, Edward make harm missiles that have they've got like a little U-shaped slot on the top of them that slide onto the pylons like the real thing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And so I've got some of those on the way, maybe for a future project. And but for the kit parts, they're perfectly serviceable, and so I've happily built them up and painted and weathered them. And actually, you only get 2 harms in the kit, so I snagged a couple of extra harms out of the Meng do a weapon set. They do a couple of different weapon sets. And I just snagged 2 extra harms. Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey, why not? If it works.
Very cool. So you're not far off having this finished now?
Oh, look, you feel like you are close.
It's a long build, these days,
It's. I was talking to someone this morning, and it was like like Schrodinger's cat. Is it alive or not alive? You don't know. These aircraft are Schrodinger's models. It's simple, but it's also really detailed, and there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So I got the wheels painted this morning or last night actually. So and I haven't posted any photos yet, but I've put them on there just to see what they look like. Sits on its wheels, great, but I haven't weathered the wheels yet. I've got the one of the jamming pods painted up, weathered. Just need to glue it on, but I haven't weathered the fuselage properly yet. So I kind of want to weather the fuselage first, and then mount the pod last. So there's still lots of little things to do, but it's all weathering stuff. And I don't know, it's 37 degrees here in Australia today.
Yes.
So I probably won't get much airbrushing done because I've got to have the window open to run the extractor fan.
Yeah.
So I probably won't, and it's just too hot.
So you still looking at getting in a spray booth? Or?
I've got a spray booth now.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I got one. So the mob in Perth that I got it from finally got it in stock, and it's great, but you got to have the window open.
Yeah.
To
How
run
big is it?
But it's 600 wide, 500 wide.
Oh, that's a good
500
size.
mil. It's double width, they call it, but it's not double width. But it's got 2 extractor fans in it, and the LED strip on the inside, and all that sort of stuff.
I had to tone my extractor fan all the way down.
Oh, too strong, was it?
Oh yeah.
It was sucking the model up into the grate.
It was literally sucking the mesh off the filter.
So you'd spray out of the end of your airbrush, and it'd do a right-hand turn and go straight to the filter.
Yep.
Why isn't my model getting painted?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you do that when you custom build your own.
So look,
maybe that's it. Maybe that's it sucked out your mojo.
Ah, yes.
That could be it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your mojo's been sucked.
It has been severely sucked. I've done bugger all modelling.
do you find that like there's a mathematical equation for modelling mojo if you're on holidays, and it's and it starts off low, and towards the last day of the holidays you get to the point. The last day of the holidays you want to start 11 kits that day.
Yes.
That day. Oh, I know what I want to do, and I want to do it now. It's like 6 o'clock, and I go back to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Let's go. I've always been like this.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, it's funny. I'm in the situation. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kits sitting there, and they're all like 75, 80% complete. And I've just got to go back in there and do the final sort of weathering or panel lighting sort of stuff. And I'm just, If
you're feeling bad about the amount of kits you've got going, I'm only 10 minutes that way.
Don't worry, I've seen them.
You've seen them.
I've seen them.
Because you've got all these tanks that you've built and they're sitting there
literally ready to go.
Yeah.
Any one of them you can pick up and just go, let's start painting.
Yeah.
And I just, it'll strike me the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
and, and I think that's
what will happen is you'll be going through the internet one day and you'll see a photo and you'll
100%.
go, bang, that's
Me.
it. And that's what does it for me too.
Yep.
I'll be going through and all of a sudden something just ping inside my head.
Oh, the lightning bolt.
Little light globe goes dink.
And I
So,
think
all right, that's it. I'm going on that.
we shouldn't beat ourselves up about stopping.
No. I mean, it's funny because at the club last night, I'm talking to one of the club members, Les, and, he says his favourite part of the process is just the building.
Yeah.
And he hates the painting, he hates the
I
decorating
go
and
through
all
that
that.
with every build.
And, I get so much satisfaction building, and yet other times with with some particular models, it's the painting that really gets me going.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, the painting is what's got me with car models at the moment.
Yeah.
Weathering. With me, it's weathering.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Once I get to the weathering
yeah.
stage, I am like a
Right. You know, like
Mr. Happy.
Yeah.
in a group build with a bunch of the Triple P guys, and we built Somwa tanks last year. We talked about it at the Nationals about building a Somwa, and then all of a sudden there we're off we go, and that's super motivating because you're just feeding off each other, and that was like weathering. Yes, this is great. I'm into this, and so it was awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't have to force it. It flowed. Everything worked really, really well. So, and it feels like it's flowing with this as well. But the heat is getting in the way.
Yeah.
You know, sort of
Yeah, when
wanting
it gets
to
too hot.
You're too hot. I can't. I don't want to. And I don't want the heat to affect. Because I have to have the bedroom or the model room door closed as well. So that cuts off the aircon.
Yeah.
There's no air getting in. I got to have the window open as well. So you've got hot air coming in the window, and it's hot in the room.
Yeah.
Is that going to compromise the paint? Is that going to compromise my sanity? Yes. So I'll just stop.
Well, it's
Actually, I might have something for you
Really?
if you're interested.
Ooh.
Since I now have air conditioning at home, I've got a portable aircon.
Oh, really? I don't have the room for it in that room, though.
It's only about that tall. About
Yeah, oh, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, I just...
they're worth about $600.
No, that's awesome. You know what? The thing is, right, if I had room like that, I'd buy a 3D printer and wash station.
well, I've got the 3D printer and wash station as a gift
What did
at
you get?
Christmas.
Which one did you get?
The Anycube one.
Yeah.
But
the mono 4K or 6K?
4K.
That's the one I want to get.
But the issue is, it's so darn hot, and I've read everywhere that don't do this over 30 degrees Celsius.
So,
and I want to do it
inside.
As much as I like to do it inside, I've been warned about the smell, and then if you get an issue with
you can get
charcoal
water
filters.
You can get water washable resin now, apparently, that you don't have to wash it in IPA. So usually you have to wash it in
IPA,
yes, and that can be a bit whiffy,
yeah,
and apparently the resin can be a bit as well.
Yeah.
But I've been speaking to a bunch of guys who are right into it, and they say no, it's actually, one of them said, oh, it's a bit, and another guy said actually it's not as bad as you think. So
you still got UV. Well, yeah.
Do you know what you can do? And this is what I thought. If you got built-in robes in your
that's where my stash sits.
Yeah, I've
Well,
got
go to
some
Bunnings to get some shelving, like I did in my
So that's what I did. I got some shelving. I cleared out some space, got some shelving, and it's now got some kits on there because it was just a jumble sale in that.
I did that.
cupboard.
Put some shelving in there.
And then I thought, well, do you know what? I could have a sliding door in the cupboard, and obviously got a sliding door, and you have the printer and the wash station next to each other.
Yeah.
And you just, when you want to run it, you just crack the cupboard open, run an extension lead in, and plug it in.
Yep.
And you can even close the door off and sort of isolate some of that smell and noise. I know it's not that noisy, but just keep it in the cupboard, and that would, and you can close off your room. So
and if you're really worried,
I reckon you could run it
just
inside.
if you're worried, also get a little extractor fan and just mount a little extractor fan inside.
computer, even just a computer
fan,
couple of computer desk fans or something like that.
But my stash is so full, it takes up the entire. I'd have to sell some of the stash off.
You got bugger all the stash, dude.
Well, it's taking up a full wardrobe.
Another
dude,
option.
I take up 4.
Okay,
and
I'm storing them on the floor.
Yeah, mine fills a double wardrobe as well. And another option is to some shelving in the garage and move some of your stash out there.
Well, I thought about
I've seen some disasters.
I don't want to
putting
move the stash in the
kits.
garage because it gets hot in there, man.
But it doesn't get direct sunlight, so
No, it
nothing's
doesn't.
going to melt.
Yeah, I know, but it gets hot in there. Yeah. Oh, jeez, I don't know.
There's a way around it. There's got to be.
Always is.
So,
Always is.
Not phantom related, but a good discussion nonetheless.
Well, it's important because I do want to start, and as I said, I've been warned by people, don't do it over 30 degrees. So
Yeah, sure.
That's
You know what? Find someone that's got a printer. Go to their house when it's printing. Smell for yourself.
yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Smell for yourself. There's people around.
Yeah.
We're bound to know someone with a printer.
Yeah.
Go and experience it for yourself. And if you can maybe even take the missus along.
No, she doesn't care.
She doesn't care? Okay,
No,
because mine
I'm-
does. Mine's
no.
really like, that stinks. Stop it.
No.
So, and just test it out and just see what you think it smells like. I know that sounds kind of a real analog workaround,
Well,
but
that's a smart idea. I should do
just-
that instead of sitting here bitching about it and thinking, oh, I'll go
and then make your decision about where you want to do it based on if it does actually smell.
Perfect idea.
And I know you were talking about you're worried about staining carpets. Or
Yeah, I'm
something.
worried about that too.
Do what I did. Go down to freaking Bunnings and buy a roll of that rubber mat, that black rubber mat. Cost you about $20, and you get like
or just take up all the carpet in that room and just put vinyl down.
Rubber mats work
Um,
fine.
You
I
know
like
the
rubber
stuff
mat.
they put in hospital floors or laundry floors. It's sort of like it's a vinyl stuff, and it just angles up the skirting boards a bit.
Yep.
That's the stuff, because then you can roll around on it on your desk chair, no problem. And if you get any spills, just wipe straight up.
Yeah.
Also, you can get like silicon trays
Yes,
at pet shops.
correct.
I love how all you guys are rebuilding my model room for me. It's awesome.
We're enabling.
That's it.
The term is enabling.
Yes,
Enabling.
I'm very good at this. I'm responsible for so
Also,
many.
you're welcome.
Of so many of Ian's purchases. I've enabled him so many times.
Yeah,
It's great.
I'll be sharp. Oh, I still got a bit of money to spend, and Julian goes, well, what about this?
Yeah, but
He's
to
the
be
same
honest,
with me. Julian's the worst dude to go to a
Yeah,
model
because he
shop
doesn't
with.
buy anything himself.
No,
He might be-
he spends your money on stuff that you don't want to necessarily buy, but you purchase anyway. Because he's like the angel sitting on or the little devil sitting on your shoulder, going, "Hey, this looks really good. You'd like that? Look good in your stash, wouldn't it? Go on, buy it. It's only $50."
I missed my calling. I should have been a drug dealer or something.
Well,
Hey, you want to buy some model kits?
well, you're dealing plastic.
yeah, I know.
I ordered a bunch of stuff pre-Christmas, and I'm thinking to myself, I've been really good. I haven't bought anything since Christmas, blah, blah. Well, of course, they've all started to turn up, haven't they? So this week, it's been multiple deliveries every day. and my wife's awesome. She's like, good on you, whatever. She's like, it's a lot of parcels this week. I'm like, yeah, it's all pre-Christmas.
That's right. Well, it's not like you're sitting down the pub every night, is it? So what
No.
the heck, yeah.
That's it. You're at home.
100%. Boys got to have their toys.
We do.
100%. Any final closing comments on building an F4? That any pearls of wisdom that you want to cast out there for our listeners, Sam?
No, just build more F4s.
Oh.
They're so great. Meng's released, has announced, and is about to release an F4E. It's a late E, so unfortunately it's not quite right for a RAF one.
Right.
It's got the slatted wing rather than the hard wing.
Yep.
But look, you know what? Someone will release an update that replaces the wing, so we could do a RAF one, or you could buy the Zuki kit. But yeah, it'll be lovely as well. Yeah.
What if the Zuki wing would fit into the Meng body?
You could do that. Or you could ruin two kits.
That's right. You could do a very
It's
expensive.
like Homer Simpson when he cuts out the leather jacket, puts leather elbows on a tweed jacket.
Yes.
Because Homer, you've ruined your jacket. And he goes, correction, two jackets.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
But I agree, because it's just something about the look of the Phantom. It always, because I grew up reading the stories of air combat over Vietnam
Yep.
and all that sort of stuff, and I was just enthralled
Amazing.
by that.
Yeah.
And it's just such a sexy looking aircraft.
I've got
See,
it.
this is why I wish there were more A4 kits, because
Yes.
because it's like all the essence of like an F4 is smaller.
With one engine. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna do an A4 loaded with 500-pound bombs, just barely able to fly because the thing's so loaded up with,
I would love to do one on the elevator with all the or on the deck with all the chains that are chaining it down to the deck.
Yeah. Or do one with a nuke underneath it. Because they were designed for nuke. They could fit a nuke to
Wow.
them. Yeah.
Have you read Tom Clancy's
Yes.
Clear and Present
Yes,
Danger?
yes,
that
yes,
opening
yes.
scene
Yes.
in the Middle East where
Yes.
they fit the nuke to the thing and it crashes, and then that's... Man, I've always wanted to do that.
Man, your eyes went as wide as saucers
That's
just then.
the favourite start to any
Yeah,
book is
yeah,
the start
yeah,
of that
yeah,
book with
yeah.
yeah. And they don't realise they've loaded a nuke on the thing, which of course is horse.
Man.
Yeah,
But imagine,
yeah.
imagine the size of the cojones and the pilots on an F4, and they strap a nuke under it and they say, "Here, go deliver this."
Hey,
And-
those F4 guys flying over the Sinai when SA6 was first trotted out, and they were getting swatted out of the sky left and right, and they still went and flew. Just nuts.
And the Argentine pilots flying during the Falklands. Oh my God!
They were flying at the end of their range,
Yep.
and one run down Bomb Alley,
And they had to get back,
and every rifle and every machine gun firing at them.
Yep.
That footage of them flying over San Carlos water, or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
twisting and turning at about 100 feet off the wall,
And
off the
hearing
deck.
every GPMG on every ship firing at them. Yeah, amazing. Funny you should say, Falkland stuff. I've got an FRS-2 Harrier in the production queue and a Pucara in the production queue.
I haven't bought the Picara. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. It's always been an
Look, it's a
aircraft.
nice looking kit.
Yeah, beautiful kit.
Yeah.
One of their best. One of Kinetic's best.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's their gold series one, and it's
Okay.
head and shoulders better than a lot of their other kits.
God,
Yeah.
you make me go and pull the trigger. Gee, get off my shoulder.
You're welcome.
You know what I'd like to do? I would like to do a Harrier, but I'd want to do an American Marine
Aviate B.
Harrier.
Oh, yes.
So I watched
Yeah.
True Lies the other night. And I'm like, yes, I need an Aviate B. Because that's it at the end. And there's a real Aviate B in some scenes. And it's like, it's all weathered and it's got all the stuff and it's got Maverick missiles on it. And it's like, good luck finding a Hasegawa kit of that, though. They're around, but they're expensive. There was a guy selling one on eBay in Box Hill the other day, 150 Australian, and it was started. We put some cockpit parts together.
And that's like the Hasegawa A4s as well. They're rare as hen's teeth.
I hope that the February announcement from a certain Japanese model company is in fact an A4 Skyhawk.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be my first jet purchase in many years.
Either that or an F-18 Classic, the Legacy Hornet from Tamiya. That would be me done.
See, I reckon there's a reasonably if you're trying to predict Tamiya releases, you're most likely wrong because you never really. It's so wide ranging. Like half the time people are like, "Oh, new release from Tamiya."
Having said that, I guessed the M18 Hellcat. And Marcus Nichols put a thing up a year or more ago on the Tamiya page going, hey, blah, blah, new Tamiya, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's an M18 Hellcat. And then 3 weeks later, guess what? Tamiya M18 Hellcat. Yeah. And I'm high-fiving myself and punching the air. It's my favourite tank.
I called the M18 Hellcat, right?
Yeah.
Because I could see there was the gap in the market for it, right?
Absolutely.
And I called the P38 as well.
Right, yeah.
I remember that.
An A4 fits the bill. It just comes down to whether my wishes come true or not, right?
Yeah.
And there is enough precedence because you got they Tomcat, F4 Phantom. It's in the line. It's in that area of things, right?
Ooh, what about an F8? No,
not
see,
quite
Dave's
as famous, not quite as-
that would make Dave happy.
Like the typical
Big
sort of
Crusader.
70s, 80s era jets. It's in that lineup. It's one of the must-haves.
One jet I always liked was the A7.
Yeah. The A7, yes.
Corsair?
Yeah, Corsair too.
yeah.
I reckon they're just a cool looking plane.
That was the one with the canted wing that would kick the wing up, or was that the F8?
It's the F8.
That's the F8, yeah.
yeah.
Had this great
Crusader.
big jack screw that just goes... just
push the wing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, A4 Skyhawk from Tamiya. That's me done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta agree. An A4, a brand
But
spanking
it has to
new
be a
A4.
G.
Yes. So we can do the Aussie.
Yeah, you can do the Australian.
I don't even care. I think Vietnam era one would be better.
Oh yeah, it's so much better.
Yep.
No, we want one so we can do the Israel Air Force with a big ass atom bomb strapped to its ass.
And Tamiya would engineer that to a T.
Yeah.
Because like the Hasegawa one, as great as it is, it's got a few.
I reckon that was the
can't even
last.
down there
get try getting your hands on one.
That was the last Hasegawa kit I built, I reckon, was an A4 Skyhawk. And if I'd have known they were going to be so rare, I wouldn't have ever built it.
Yep.
I went to build it, and then it was Christmas, and a relative came over and snapped the leading edge slats on purpose.
I'll tell you.
Ouch. Did you give him a kick in the bum?
I spent this Christmas at home, away from the family.
Wow. Bar humbug.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I'm not a Christmas
The Hobby Boss A4 isn't terrible. I mean, it's a Hobby Boss
It
kit,
doesn't have the
so-
leading edge slats
Oh, man. Okay.
separated.
Yeah,
You'd have to do
And of course, when they're on the ground, they're going to be forward, aren't they?
Yep.
They're going to be
Yep.
deployed. So
Yep.
just gravity.
Yep.
Yeah. Bugger. Yeah, that'd be a job.
Whatever you do, don't go to Nowra Air Museum, because if you do go there,
Yep.
all you want to build is Aussie naval stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Oh
yeah.
my god! It's just
the other sticking point on the A4s is that the red around the intakes.
Yeah, right.
Because there's lots of different ways that they painted that. Some of them are like red around the edges, and then they've got a little streak that comes back. Some of them don't have that. Some of them have white written on it, and a lot of them are like, "Oh, here's a red decal." And how are you supposed to get that wrapped around?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Oh, and then it won't even be all of it. It'll just be part of it, and then you'll have to match
Match
red
it with
paint to a decal. Good luck with that.
Stop looking at Skyhawks on the internet.
I can't look. I mean, oh my god.
So yeah,
Beautiful aircraft.
could you imagine?
Good old Scooter.
Could you imagine a Navy or Marine Corps A4 from Tamiya?
Remember, Airfix said that a majority of their sales are 48 skits into North America.
Yeah,
So I reckon a 48 scale A4 would print money.
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
With the big refueling probe out the front and just like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's
there.
so great.
Yeah, you got to love the Scoot.
Yeah.
I like the Hunchback version.
Oh, the saddle
avionics.
tank.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah, on the top was all ECM stuff.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah. Upgraded all for the electronics and stuff.
Yeah, I like the Hunchback look. Looks good. Looks tough.
Yeah, Canadian one. What the hell?
Anyway. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. So,
Thanks for coming in, Sam.
I know.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
It's fantastic.
Now that
having you back in.
we've officially drummed up enough support to triple the prices of these kits on eBay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do sign off. Ian.
See you later, guys. Have a great couple of weeks, and see you in We'll speak to you all in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Julian,
Yeah, I'll see you later.
you two guys enjoy your break from the podcast.
Oh yeah.
And Sam, thanks very much for coming around.
Thanks for having me and bring me back a present.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. But if I bring you back, we're not going to bring these guys back.
No, don't worry about us.
Yeah, we're fine.
I've got enough stuff at home to keep me amused.
All right,
Unless
guys.
he brings you back a bottle or something.
Don't bring it back a little snow globe with the Tour FL in it.
Yeah, okay.
Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll be back in a month, and we'll see you then. So thanks for listening, everybody. As I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, we're having a short break, so we won't be back until the next episode is going to be on the 18th of February. So there's lots of other wonderful shows for you to listen to while we're away. Just simply go to modelpodcast.com, and they've got the full listing of modelling podcasts from around the world, including Scale Model Podcast, Models from Ukraine, Small Subjects, Built Sideways, Plastic Model Mojo, Micro Machines Podcast. Don't forget to give those boys a look. The Model Bygger Podden, which is from Sweden, Model Geeks, and of course we've also got Just Making Conversation, Plastic Posse Podcast, and our good mates over at Sprue Cutters Union. So give all those shows a listen. Don't forget, if you're using an app or a feed to listen to your podcasts, like all those shows so that you can make sure that you're made aware for the next time that the next episode is downloaded and dropped. My name's Dave. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the next episode. Adios.